finding comfort and ease, sometimes translated, or here, finding rest in meditation. In this text, the main body of the teachings are divided into 3 Vajra points. First Vajra point, the place. Second Vajra point, the persons who practice. These 2 Vajra points we discussed last Tuesday. Today, the third Vajra point, which is about what is to be practiced. So today we are going to discuss about what are the teachings that are to be practiced. So now, if you have the book, please turn to page 17. Okay. Number 1, it reads, the teaching to be practiced has 3 parts. Preliminary, first. Main practice, second. And concluding section, third. So, the teachings to be practiced divide into 3 parts. The preliminary, the main section, and the concluding sections. Actually, we call such a outlining the structure of the whole teaching. Outlining is a way with which we study not only this text, all the Buddhist philosophies, as well as all the basically instructions given like this. Divide. First, outlining. So keeping this outlining in mind, it really keeps clear to understand the whole concept of the teachings. Okay. Now, first, we're going to discuss the preliminary. Let me first say this. Here, preliminaries are divided into 4 kinds of preliminaries, right? First 2 are more of a common preliminaries. And next 2 are rather Vajrayana discipline, Vajrayana practice. Here, when we say preliminaries, it's not, of course, something that is not important, these preliminary practices are the practice not only in Vajrayana Buddhism, but further in Mahayana practice and in Theravadan Sharavakayana practices. Okay. Anyway, these four preliminaries are very, very important ones. Okay. Now the first two common preliminaries. Number 2. The preliminary teachings are set forth first, okay, the outer preliminaries, and then later particular preliminaries to discuss. Okay, now first outer preliminaries are the understanding of impermanence and disenchantment with samsara. These uproot from deep within the mind, all clinging to this life. So now let us talk about this a little bit, which is a very, very important preliminary. This has to do with, as we say, may my mind turn genuinely toward Dharma. So that is what is missing. Of course, to begin with, one first turn one's mind genuinely toward Dharma. That's the most important. This is the really gateway entering aspect to the Buddha Dharma. Without this, genuinely turning your mind toward Dharma, if you read Dharma, if you try to understand Dharma for the sake of, I don't know, whatever that is, then the efficacy of our effort may not be there at all, or even if there is a result, will be very limited. So, past masters, present masters all pray and ask their students to pray that their mind turns toward Dharma genuinely. For that reason, when we practice Hondo, first and foremost in the instructions are 4 thoughts that which our mind turns toward Dharma genuinely, which is most important step to begin with. Now, how can one turn one's mind toward Dharma? Here, Longchenpa teaches us, think about impermanence of life. Most important tools or method with which one can turn one's mind toward Dharma. Now, teaching about impermanence is a very, very important in Buddha Dharma in generally. Why it's important? Looking back to the Buddha's history, when Buddha attained enlightenment, and decided to teach what Buddha first taught. Buddha taught 4 noble truths. Among 4 noble truths, first is the truth of sufferings. Teaching about truth of suffering, first aspect of truth of suffering is impermanence. So here Buddha began the teachings of Buddha Dharma with impermanence, because that's how we begin. Understanding of this and genuinely reflecting on this is how everything begins. Also, it is said that at the end of very last moment in Buddha's life, Buddha again taught impermanence. Being born means have to end this life. And ever since, great masters of the past and present, what they give, first and foremost important teachings to their students is, you know, this life we have is in fact impermanent. Don't think about something philosophical, kind of speculation, those things. Just look at to your own body, to your own existence. And this existence, this beautiful existence, happiness, beautiful body with incredible opportunity is in fact impermanent. Do you really understand that? Impermanent here means absolutely no idea how long we can have this, continue to have this. Life's impermanent. We are seeing impermanent in front of our nose, as we say, under our nose. All this happening in pandemic. Every morning when we wake up, we hear the number of people pass away. Every time, even not with this situation, when we watch TV, death and dying are everywhere. It's still, for some reason, we do not want to think about our own death and dying, which is the reality. So, impermanent here, do not think about something philosophical teachings, but simply this very existence is impermanent. So, while one have it, we definitely have to use this opportunity for something greater purpose. Most important. Past masters said, once born, meant to leave this world. Once gathered, will depart from each other. Once accumulated, will exhaust. Way of impermanent nature works. That's how it works. With such thought, one try one's mind to turn toward Dharma genuinely. That this is most precious thing that I can do with this precious life. And then turning one's mind toward Dharma, this reflecting on impermanent is something that brings us the urgency. The question is really when to practice Dharma. We all have things to do. The endless walks are waiting, endless things to do. Watch TV even. We spend time here and there, seems to be quite busy. And the work that we have to do is quite endless. That has been that way, and the endless work will be until we leave this world. We say in Tibetan, samsara can never come to a perfect square, which means there's no completion that one come to a point and think, well, now I'm done. There is no such thing, right? So At the same time, as a Dharma practitioner, one must know that this very opportunity one has is impermanent. Okay. And then furthermore, teaching about impermanence is one of the very important teaching in Buddhism. That is on the subtle level, all the things we see, we hear, we feel, momentary existence. There isn't anything that is permanently there. Therefore, in Buddhist teaching, we call 4 seals of Dharma. 4 seals, all composite. Anything that's composite phenomena is impermanent. We call subtle impermanent, transcend nature of all that exists. Now look at the sentient beings. Why sentient beings wander in samsara, have so many sufferings? Because sentient beings grasp on the object, even though these objects are transcend nature, impermanent nature, sentient beings grasp, including oneself, as if they are permanently existent phenomena. Fundamental delusion starts from there. Looking at oneself, here one thing, here I am, the I which never exists from the beginning. Sentient beings have the ego-clinging mind of an I. Again, start another profound root of ignorance, delusions. So wandering in the samsaric world, so much sufferings. These sufferings, again, sentient beings not knowing the suffering nature, grasp to those undesirable objects as desirable objects. That's how sentient beings with delusions wander through suffering to sufferings, 6 different realms and all these things. So here we say renunciation, ngenjung in Tibetan. Renunciation is a word that may not be truly connote what Tibetan word ngenjung is. Ngenjung, nge means reality. Jung means come to their reality. Awaken to their reality. So ngenjung is in a sense, here Longchenpa, disenchantment. Somehow this now feeling enough of it. So much suffering. One knowing that if one end everything, one's energy and everything into the pursuit of this material acquisition, life is on the wrong track. Knowing the suffering nature of samsara as a whole, as an individual, always searching something for good, something that cannot be attained. Dissatisfactions, sufferings are everywhere. At the same time, life is impermanent. At the same time, all these delusions are happening. Nowhere near to end these delusions. And with that, the Dharma seeker, those who seek the path of liberation, have this ngenjung, turning their minds toward Dharma. Why? Understanding the meaninglessness of this samsaric phenomena, and then pretty much tired of all these things happening, endless things happening. So genuinely turning one's mind toward Dharma. So that should happen. in our own practice, every day when you sit, when you go to sit on the cushion, you think about this impermanent nature of life, this suffering nature of samsara, this meaninglessness of samsaric phenomena. So with that, some form of renunciation. With that understanding, one then wake up, one then sit, one then meditate, one then pray. Why these masters, practitioners of the past, they had such an inspiration to sit, practice for a long time, to go in the mountain, disregard all other things, is because of these renunciations. With this renunciation, then these practitioners, true practitioners, do not have a hope and fear in samsara. The worldly phenomena, whatever good that may seem, they look like, in fact, nature of suffering. So these practitioners do not have a hope and fear for samsara. And then we detail out the practitioner's mind, going beyond 8 worldly concerns, we call. Like that, 8 worldly concerns. Hope, between fear and hope. When one truly understands meaninglessness of samsara, then what is hope for? What is fear for? Fear for losing something in meaningless samsara, or hope for gaining something. None of these things are necessary. And that understanding, that renunciation is the inspiration for practitioners and is the inspiration, turning point, their mind genuinely turning toward Dharma. Like that. For example, Shravakayana level, basically Pratimoksha vow, as we talk about monks and nuns vow. We say that vow, the definition of vow is Ninjungi Sambi Kunirani Jenu Jichipanvi Tsutim, which means driven from the renunciation, genuine renunciation, and abstaining from negative deeds completely is the ethics, is the moral conduct, the vow. So in order to have the vow, of course, one should have Ngenjungi Sambi, renunciation, with samsara, and then receiving the vow, like that. So here Longchenpa saying that when you turn your mind genuinely, or when you try to practice Dharma genuinely, first and foremost is this understanding of impermanent nature of samsaric phenomena. With that, disenchantment with samsara, and you genuinely turn your mind toward Dharma. That is where you enter, how you enter to the path of liberations. Otherwise, all are kind of imitation or just a play. And for us, for you, if you want to be a real practitioner, then you have to check your mind. How my mind is. genuinely turning toward Dharma or not? Or am I just playing? Or am I just interested for some other reasons? So here, let us try, turn our mind genuinely toward Dharma. So Longchenpa says the preliminary first is this one. Yeah? That's how you enter the path. That is outer preliminary. Okay. Now, second preliminary. The particular preliminary here, Longchenpa says, are compassion and attitude of bodhicitta, whereby all practice is transformed into the path of Mahayana. Therefore, to begin with, train in this preliminary. This we are very familiar again. Bodhicitta. What is bodhicitta? By now, you all know. But always, knowing is one thing, reminding oneself the bodhicitta principle is very, very important. Bodhicitta, in a sense, motivations, whenever, actually, not only for Dharma practice, as a true practitioner, bodhicitta is always in our heart. Now I'll just explain briefly to remind you. Bodhicitta is Sanskrit term, bodhi, enlightenment, citta, heart of enlightenment. The heart of enlightenment. How is the heart of enlightenment is explained? Now here, Buddha Maitreya's teaching that propagated by Asanga is said, bodhicitta is for the benefit of all motherly sentient beings, wishing for complete enlightenment. That is bodhicitta. This bodhicitta for the benefit of all sentient beings, wishing for complete enlightenment for oneself and for all other beings. It's bodhi and citta, bodhi, enlightenment, citta, that aspiration, right? That is bodhicitta. Of course, we wish our relative ones, our loved ones for something good, but we do not know how to wish to be perfect good. That perfect good is enlightenment. Until reach enlightenment, samsara continues, suffering continues, same phenomena. So, may all sentient beings become enlightened. That is bodhicitta. So now bodhicitta, what is the characteristics of bodhicitta? We call boundless aspirations. Boundless in a sense, the object, all sentient beings, there is no bound. The birds flying in the sky, fish swimming in the water, we say, ants and insects crawling on the ground. However, wherever they may wandering 6 different realms. As limitless as the sky, all are sentient beings. To that level, to that extent, suffering continue and will be continuing. So to that, wishing all motherly sentient beings to become fully awakened. So that is the aspirations one must generate. Object-wise, is boundless. The goal-wise also boundless, to enlighten, become enlightened. So therefore, we say bodhicitta is the most profound, greatest aspiration that as a human being we can ever think of. So at all times, whenever one practice, whenever one do good things, whenever one make aspirations, may all sentient beings become fully awakened. Whatever I do may cause this. Here, when I do teachings, I invoke the blessings of the Buddha, Guru Rinpoche, to all the lineage master, including Longchenpa. And then I try to generate bodhicitta. My responsibility is that. And for my own bodhicitta, when I teach or try to share with you what I understand, if this comes from a bodhicitta, then it doesn't matter. In fact, whatever I share with you. So, yes, that is my practice. I always make sure my mind is on the right track. And I don't mean to say that nobody shakes my comfort zones. Yes, sometimes happens. But making sure my mind is on the right track is my responsibilities, nobody's responsibilities. Who shakes my comfort zone, this person doesn't have any responsibilities that I'm not being able to remain on my track. So whether I'm being a good practitioner or not good practitioner depend on this. So after having this bodhicitta, then okay, everything okay. Then you don't think about whether you are doing correctly or incorrectly very much. When you say mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padma Hum, or different pronunciation, doesn't really matter. Make sure that one's bodhicitta, genuine, profound motivation is there. May all sentient beings benefit. So in our own practice, we begin with that bodhicitta, we end with bodhicitta. By this merit, may all sentient beings be free from suffering. May all sentient beings become enlightened. Most important. So Longchenpa here saying these two preliminaries, common preliminaries, of course, say it, most important. So first preliminary, Ngenjung, the renunciation, which is the entering point to the path of the Buddha Dharma, genuinely. Once we enter to the path of Buddha Dharma, what is there? Bodhicitta must be generated. When these two things happen, you genuinely enter and you genuinely enter into the path of Mahayana. Entering path of Mahayana, whether you are Mahayana practitioners, here we have different Mahayana practitioners. How can Mahayana practitioner be Mahayana practitioners? It's not because they're Mahayana practitioner, Japanese or practitioner monks, nuns, or Chinese monks, nuns, Vietnamese nuns, Korean monks, different, including what we wear, but whether bodhicitta is there or not, right? So, as a Vajrayana practitioner, again, we should have the renunciation that Sharavakayana level practice, what practice should have. And then Mahayana practice, what they practice, Vajrayana practitioners should have. No exception. Clear. Path is clear, should be clear. So we are genuinely entering into the path of Dharma, and we are embarking on the path of liberation that lead to enlightenment. we are embarking on that path. When one has this genuine bodhicitta, this is the most important part. Okay. Now, other two preliminaries, two superior preliminaries, Longchenpa designates here. The following preliminaries are far superior. Okay. First is with all empowerments received, you practice two stages, generation and completion stages. These are two stages, receiving empowerment and practice on two stages are the far superior preliminary practice. That's altogether one. Okay, first let me read this. Generation stage, description of generation stage. You perceive your body as a deity, the universe and beings. Thus you overcome attachment to the real existence of what is commonly perceived. Now, this is such a loaded teaching. I may have to explain a little bit, otherwise. Okay. First empowerment is received, Longchenpa said. Now empowerment. Let me say first few words about this. When you look at the overall teachings, we say entering into Sharavakayana, first level, in the old translation school, we talk about 9 vehicles. Sharavakayana practice, how you enter is taking the vows. Last time we talked about at least Upasaka, Upasika's vows. That's how you enter. Again, with the preliminary here, with the renunciation mind, and then taking the vow not to harm any beings, completely, abandoning any act of harm. That's how enter. And then Mahayana, taking bodhicitta vows, bodhisattva vows. Vajrayana, how you enter, empowerment. That's the gateway, how you enter the path of the Vajrayana is by receiving empowerment. And now Vajrayana teachings and practice in 9 vehicle system, we talk about outer 3 tantaras, Tiya, Upa, Yoga Tantra. 3 inner tantara, Maha, Anu, Ati. Each time when you enter to the Triya, there's empowerment you receive. When you enter into Upa, you have to receive empowerment. Yoga, you have to receive empowerment. And then inner Maha Yoga, Anu Yoga, Ati Yoga, all receive empowerment. And receiving empowerment is the way to enter into the path. Now, empowerment, a Tibetan word, one, which translated into English, empowerment, which is quite good. Empower us. Empower of what? Really depend on different tantra again. First and foremost, empowering you, we say that oneself as ordinary beings, now one is empowered to become king-like. That is empowering you to become the extraordinary. Or in inner Tantara, more membership one, which means ripening to that extraordinary, giving that power, energy, like that. And the realization power, realization empowering you. And you know, lots of our practices, especially inner yoga practices, you cannot practice until one receives empowerment. And that is true. You cannot. If one practices without empowerment, it is as if you use the things without the permissions, without the blessings. And not only will it benefit to you, it can be destructive even. Empowering you, empowering. And then the empowerment in Sanskrit, abhisheka. Abhisheka. They're translated in Tibetan, Torwa Lupa, we call. Abhi means Torwa, Lupa, Sheka. Torwa, which means purifying. Empowerment purifies you. Purify from all defilements. Abhi. Sheka, pouring, that has to do with receiving the blessings. Receiving blessings, ripening. So that empowerment, now we talk about ground, path, and pollution empowerment. Ground, as you know, we have bodhicitta. We have, I'm talking about, we have Buddha nature. That is ground empowerment. In fact, we already have. Without that, cannot be empowered. And then receiving empowerment from the qualified teachers, all this ground. And the path empowerment are what we do self-visual, in the visualization, like Guru Yoga practice. Let me discuss this a little bit later. Path empowerment. And result empowerment is basically awakening to that ground. Empowerment, the ground, the pure, in that purity, to that awakening, to that ripen, empowerment is given. First, begin with. And then on that path, you practice self-empowerment. Like for here, let's say Guru Yoga practice, how we do. Path empowerment. And that, with that practice, one awaken to one's true nature, that is a result empowerment, right? Like that. Okay, that's the brief way to explain, and that's how you think of empowerment. Yes. Yeah, and then detail, then Tia Upa Yoga's empowerment, and as I said, the ordinary being crowning, kind of coronation ceremony kind of thing, giving you the implements, giving you the crown and dress and everything. That's a long story. But anyway, all has to do with empowering you to awakening you, ripening you to that extraordinary person so that you can practice yourself. You visualize as a Buddha, like that. Okay. Oh, now the main thing I want to explain is 2 stages, generation stages and completion stage, perfection stage. Have good time, relax. If you're having hot water, have. Now 2 stages. This is such a big subject. Anyway, I'll just introduce you a little bit. Some people ask me in our Eshitoja practice, may I practice Cherim and Dzogrim? Remember? What's that about? Tibetan word, 2 stages are Cherim, generation stage, Dzogrim, completion, and perfection stages. Now, these 2 pretty much covers the whole path of Vajrayana. Now, first let us think about generation stages. We call Cherim. Generation stages you perceive your body as a deity, all these things, right? What is generation stages? Why generation stages practice is important? Because we have to purify our impure perceptions. That's most important. The root of Vajrayana practice we call pure perceptions. That of course begin with, with our own devotions, trying to perceive one's teacher as a Buddha. Now, purifying perceptions, here you are asked to visualize. Think of yourself as a deity, whatever you are practicing. Think of your place as the Pure Land. Think of your bodies, Vajra siblings. Here we have to use the word Vajra, siblings. Doji Chedo in Tibetan are all Vidyadhara, awareness holders, pure beings. Why we do like that? See, what we consider ourselves, this identity has something gone wrong. To begin with, I, myself, that do not exist. The fundamental delusion, that's not true. And our own identity, we identify ourselves as somebody, as man, woman, teacher, photographer, gardener, engineer, doctor, scientist, whatever. And then these identities are temporary identity. Even man and woman, that's not true identity. Identity crisis happens. Now here, Vajrayana teachings, the root of Vajrayana teachings, you can say, is the pure perception teachings, pure inherent purity teaching based on that, Buddha nature. The whole subject, some time ago we discussed online, quite an extensive. By now, those of you who took that class may not realize, but at least should have certain confidence in one's innate purity. Without that Vajrayana practice, we don't know where it's going. If there is a Vajrayana practice. Generally speaking, view meditation action, view practice in action. Practice without the view, it is not the practice. Vajrayana practice without the Vajrayana view, you can pretty much say it is not Vajrayana practice. Then what is Vajrayana view? First and foremost, I always say this, but still myself, always having this identity crisis. But in the heart of my heart, it won't be lying if I say I try to maintain. Here, trying, see. So, Vajrayana view is promoted purity. With that view, meditation is then visualizing yourself as a deity. Yourself as a deity. Identify yourself as a deity. Now that identifying, say, let me first say this. Visualization, in all translation school, we call Tingzing Sumche. How visualization is supposed to start is the Tejinichi Tengenzing, which means samadhi of suchness. Then Kundunami Tengenzing, samadhi of all pervading appearance. Juri Tengenzing, Kojul Samadhi. Samadhi of suchness is understanding of empty nature of all phenomena. That's how we begin. Without that, there's no visualizations. When one visualizes oneself, begin with that understanding, samadhi of suchness. Right? With that understanding, then you visualize yourself, the deity, whatever practicing. And then we call Vajra pride, remember? You are not really visualizing something that you are not, but this is the moment, for instance, when we do Chenrezig practice, when you momentarily visualize yourself as Chenrezig at the end of Chenrezig practice, you think that this identity is the correct identity. One's true nature now, empty essence, luminous in nature, is manifest into this pure Chenrezig form. White in color, as an expression of purity. 4 hands, which is expressions of infinite compassion, loving kindness, joy, and equanimity to all sentient beings. Momentarily visualizing powerful, powerful transformation, shift, paradigm shift can happen even though one do not know this, there's something profound happens. So in this we call Vajra pride. It's not something your pride of negative sense, but your pride that you are visualizing who you really are. All right? And then sadhanas we call like um, 3 nails. Ordinary body is nailed with the pure wisdom body. Ordinary speech is nailed with wisdom speech. Ordinary mind is nailed with wisdom mind, and all these teachings, all these practices really. And these practices, when we do sadhana practice, all the time happens. So one try to visualize oneself as a Buddha momentarily even has a powerful effect. And then we call sometimes 4 nails. Nail this ordinary activity with enlightened activities. In sadhana practice like that, you visualize yourself as a deity, you then enlightened activity, peaceful, developing, magnetizing, liberating activities, all this from the enlightened being's point of view, you visualize for the benefit of sentient beings. So these things are visualizations. I usually say, when people ask me what is visualization important, I say, what do you imagine matters. What do you imagine? For ordinary people, when one imagines somebody wonderful, naturally affects us. On the contrary, also true, when you imagine somebody bad, they begin effect on our mind. So, visualizing like Chinese, poems holding the, wish fulfilling jewel, which represents the all wish she's granted. So all these visualizations are very, very powerful. So, okay, that should be now. Generation stage. Now completion stages. Completion stages is what we will be discussing. So let me not go there very much. Now completion stage, most important is to understand is 2 completion stages. Usually we talk. That is, Senjichi Zorim, the Tsemechi Zorim. Senjichi Zorim means completion stages with characteristics. Tsemechi Zorim means completion stages with no characteristics. With characteristics has to do with then all the settled body, with relating to settled body practices and other forms of vajrayana practices. Characteristic less is basically referring to the understanding of emptiness. The samadhi of suchness is the dzogrim. Whatever visualize, the palace, the beings, the sounds, the activities, all within the empty essence. One visualize that empty essence, understanding that empty. So when one visualizes yourself as a deity, you're not just leaving this body behind, becoming some kind of other body, but this very body itself transformed into pure perceptions. Deity's body. That deity's body is translucent, empty in essence. So in post-meditation, you supposedly carry on that understanding of emptiness in essence to your body and to all phenomena. So that understanding is the vajrayana, completion stage, Tsemechi Zorim, completion stages of non-characteristics. Okay, that's in essence. And then our last one, last preliminary. Thanks to the training in the deep path of Guru Yoga, boundless blessings will arise through the powerful compassion of your teacher. Okay. Obstacles are dissipated and the true accomplishments attained. Now, last preliminary practice is Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga, of course, whether one have realization of Dzogpa Chenpo will depend on Guru Yoga practice. Guru in our lineage most of the time in the form of Guru Rinpoche, who embodies all the blessings, not a particular kind of Buddha figure, but who embodies all the blessings of all the Buddhas. So basically, Guru Yoga is for receiving blessings, right? Receiving blessings and Bhajar Guru Mantra recitation, all this, most of you know, Bhajar Guru Yoga practice. Okay. In Guru Yoga practice, then what we do is receiving four empowerments, right? Please do those, very important. Here, if I explain very briefly, it wants devotions, really, to prayer, recite the mantra. And then when one receives empowerment from Guru's forehead, white letter Om emerges, white rays of light dissolve into your forehead, purifying all the defilements of your body, receive the wisdom body empowerment. We call also purifying defilements of the channel. But actually, I want to also relate to this later on when we talk about settled body. I will relate back to Guru Yoga practice. And then Guru's throat level, red from letter R, red rays of light emerge, dissolve into one's throat, purifying all the defilements of speech, receive Guru's wisdom speech. Heart level, deep blue hum, rays deep blue light come, dissolve into oneself, receive all the empowerments, wisdom empowerment. And then another 5 color rays of light emerge, dissolve into one's heart, that purify all the residual defilements. Like that, right? And then one receives the blessings of attaining Swava Kaya. So basically, kind of Guru out there, what one visualize, the perfect enlightened form with infinite qualities. Now one receive the blessings and oneself and Guru become kind of then closer. And at the end, Guru dissolve into light, or yourself dissolve into light, and dissolve back, or yourself dissolve up to Guru, and become inseparable. And that understanding of inseparability, in that one tastes, one abide. So these are the really visualizations, receiving 4 empowerments we call vast empowerment, security vast empowerment for head, for body, security empowerment for speech, wisdom empowerment for your heart, precious word empowerments for, purifying all the residual defilements. These are very, very important. And I'm sure you are doing the practice. And if you consider you want to practice Vajrayana, especially Dzogpa Chenpo, and if you say, I don't practice Guru Yoga, but I just sit and practice Dzogpa Chenpo, that is such a, I don't know the word. Okay. So, page number 18. So, following the outer and particular preliminaries, meditate upon the two superior ones. Okay, that's it. And then number 4 is the benefit. Okay, benefit is here. Through these 4 preliminaries, right, that we discussed. Last one's Guru Yoga practice. Your mind embarks upon the unmistaken path. That's unmistaken path to happen. Will happen when you practice these preliminaries. And once you take this supreme path to freedom, the fundamental nature swiftly manifests. Right? You will gain an easy skill in the main practice. And there will be no obstacles. Endless qualities will possess nearness to accomplishment and all the rest. To attain in the preliminaries, or to attain in the preliminaries is therefore utmost important. Of course, some people say, oh, I try to meditate, but not really working. Why not working? One thing cannot work, it needs causes and conditions altogether, the most important. So therefore, Longchenpa's teachings like this, very important. When these preliminaries happen, actually we say like, in order to reflect reflections in the mirror, you first have to clear out the mirror, clean them. If mirror is covered with so many dust, reflection cannot reflect. Likewise, these kind of accumulations, purifications, Guru Yoga practice, all these things are most important. And once mirror surface is clean, reflections then just arise spontaneously. So far we talk about the place to practice, the one who practice, the practitioner definition. And as the main practice, what are the preliminaries? Impermanence, disenchantment to samsara, renunciations, genuinely turning your mind toward Dharma, entering point, generating bodhicitta. Now, when it comes to Vajrayana, receiving empowerment to generations, stage oneself as a deity, Guru Yoga. So these always keep in mind. The rest, what we are going to talk about, may be important, but these are the important ones. So I hope this explanation really reminds you. Most of you, I know, have the knowledge. In fact, have been practicing. Here, I'm simply reminding you and encouraging you. Okay, Whether or not we can attain realization depend on this. That's it. Okay. Now we will go a little bit further. How's that? I think we have some time. Five, 10 minutes late is always excusable. Okay. Number 5. Now here we're talking about the preliminary practice we have done. Now the main practice. Concerning the main practice, through skillful means of concentration on bliss, on luminosity, on no thought. Okay. The fundamental nature of mind will now be introduced to you. Luminous primordial wisdom, free from all elaborations, uncontrived, and co-emerging will arise. Okay. Now, the main practice that we will be discussing today, the next 2 classes, will be about on bliss first. And then we go on luminosity. And then lastly, we go on no thought. Now, through the skillful means of concentration on bliss, on luminosity, on no thought, then one comes to realization of this inherent timeless wisdom, Buddha nature, the great perfection within be realized. The special method Longchenpa is going to give us. Bliss, luminosity, no thought can be just quality of any meditations. In fact, certain bliss, certain clarity, certain no thoughts are characteristics of good meditations, general. Here we are talking about something on a profound level. With the use of essence of drops generating bliss, with the use of wind or prana, air generating luminosity, with the use of channel, nadis, generating no thoughts. Okay. So there are 3 methods. Okay, now first method. First, the introduction through the skillful methods of great bliss. Okay, here it is. Following the preliminary meditation previously explained, imagine the 3 channels straight like pillars passing through the center of the 4 chakras. The channel on the right is white, the channel on the left is red. The center channel is blue, like a hollow tube, the top of which lies in the Brahma aperture. The lower end lies in the sacred center. Okay. Oh, I have to explain a little bit. Longchenpa here, first time introducing us to the settled body. Now, settled body, we haven't taught in the past, here and there, but not much. Perhaps, going through this explanation is for the first time here. Most of you are very familiar. Settled body is not only Vajrayana property. Settled body appears in many, like Kundalini, I hear all the time. Actually, I have very close people who practice Kundalini. And I sometimes discuss with them. There are lots of similarities and also differences, of course. And then other Hindu practices, even, Qigong and all other Eastern practices thing. Some kind of settled bodies are taught. Now, Vajrayana, past masters here in the West, Vajrayana point of view of settled body are not very much taught. In one way, that is also not correct, because like I saw movies about Tummo practices, heat generating, inner heat, very fascinated. Yes, it is fascinating, of fascinating phenomena, because, up in the Himalayan cold places, snowy places, these practitioners are very warm, even heat generating. So therefore, scientists are very interested, I think. So in this case, Vajrayana teachings very much, certain settled, body, concept is already there. And I also understand why masters not very much taught settled body aspect. Because one thing we said that settled body teachings, this Tummo practice, in fact, we call Tummo, is a main practice in Zodim, but at the same time, not very much shared with others. It's one of the secret sections. You want to share this, samaya may be damaged, particularly if you share with somebody who are not a good vessel to share. And maybe that's why. Maybe sometime in the West, we are very intelligent. We want to make things up, take out of context. I have infinite respect to the New Age phenomena, but at the same time, I have a little bit doubt. Taking out of context, we make things up. Actually, I do have friends, very good friends, very nice friends, who says that they make up things from here and there, bring from different religions and philosophies. They make up a mantra. And this is not done in the East. There's the most dangerous things to do. Even for instance, last year I received Longchenpa. I received before, but again from Session Rabja Rinpoche, I received Longchenpa empowerment. The Longchenpa, they put together Longchenpa and Hinti Tsape, particularly Hinti Tsape, put together by Tego Chense Rinpoche. And he did that because when he was in Paro, Bhutan, Jigme Lingpa actually came to him and then ask him to compile the teachings like that. Then only he did the code following. So in this case, most of the time, idam deity's instruction following, and most of the time having the ultimate realizations, then to those New Age stuff. Otherwise, no thing. Maybe that's why not taught. Anyway, Vajrayana practice, two more practices, and other settled channel, settled body practices, teachings are very, very common. Even the four practice, settled body there. Zalung practice, and lots of practices has to do with settled body. Okay, now here, what I'm going to share with you for the rest of the class is not something I made up. I always say this. I don't have the capacity, don't have the realizations. What I'm going to share with you has to do with Longchenpa's teachings about settled body. Furthermore, has to do with Jimmy Lingpa's teaching, Longchenpa's heart sons, who came to be in 18th century, who never studied, but always prayed Longchenpa. Longchenpa came to him in his pure vision and taught everything. And he also composed, we call it Yuantenzu, the treasury of precious qualities in 13th chapter, like the Longchenpa's resting in nature of mind text, thoroughly explaining, particularly in the settled body. Jimmy Lingpa explains. Based on these general teachings, in particular, my own connections growing up at Namdoling, Sky Teju teachings, Zalung practice, there are teachings about settled body. And my own lineage, so to speak, where I'm rooted, Dujum lineage. Again, settled body teachings, particularly in Namcha, Puti, circle, in that lots of teachings, further explaining by Dujum Rinpoche and my teachers, some explanation. Anyway, that's a long story, but I will just share with you something that has to do with not, I think it's good for you and just make things up, just based on those lineage masters, okay? Okay, then now let me say a few words about this. Okay. Settled body, we call channel, wind, and essence. Channel is what we have, the subtle of the physical body, subtle of the physical body, the pure, refined, you can say, physical body. The nervous system, you think about something like that at the beginning. And then in Sanskrit we call nadis, right? And wind or air that which goes within those nervous system, those channels. Pranas, called prana in Sanskrit. And then the essence that which carry by those winds, by those airs, drops, or essence, or bindu in Sanskrit. So these three, channel, wind, essence, drops, these three are basically settled body, is what we are going to discuss. Then now first, today just let me tell you the settled body channel, Okay, here just Longchenpa. So it was channels and then chakras. Channels and chakras are basically the refined or pure nature of this aspect of this physical body. Then how we describe is that within channel, the most important, the first three channels, called center, left, and right channel. Center channel, Avaduti, we call Tibetan Uma, Sauma, which starts from crown chakra, from crown to the secret. And there are many different explanations about it, but blue in color. And then left and right channel, starting from below navel, 4 with finger below navel, from there, from the center channel, come up, we call Roma, it's a Roma. Roma, in Sanskrit Rasana, and Tibetan Roma. For men, this white color, Roma, comes along the center channel and goes to crown, then end to the right nose trail. Changma, again from below navel, starts and then come all the way up, like the Roma, ends to your left nostrils. So these are the three central channels. Usually, center channel Avaduti, Uma, is blue. Right, Roma, is white. Left, Changma, is red. So for female and male, female, Roma, Changma, different, right? For male, Roma is on the right side. For female, Changma is on the right side. Okay. This is the main thing, main visualizations, three central channel. In the center of this physical body. A lot of things to talk about this. Let me be like that today. And then chakras, crown chakras, throat chakra, heart chakra, navel chakra. Quinchen Longchenpa here, only 4 chakras talk about. Secret chakra is not subject of this text. Crown of first heart chakra, 8 spokes, 8 branch out. Throat chakra, multiply that, 16 spokes. Crown chakra, multiply that 2 times, 32. And navel chakra, again multiply, 64, spokes. Now, how this kind of remains is that we call Duktar Chilwa, parasol, that umbrella, like, crown chakra, like that, and then throat chakra from up, heart chakra down, navel chakra up. Let's do it like that. Okay. What else I want to say? Okay, that's pretty much right now. As far as this teaching, that's what it means. And again, yeah, right in a white, red, or red, white, male and female. Center is blue. Okay. So that's it. That's a chakra in channels. Okay. With that, let us do a short meditation on it, and then we conclude. Okay. Okay. Here, I want you to sit straight. If you can, we call 7-point meditation of Vairocana. It's very powerful. Even if you cannot, that's okay. 7-point is cross-legged. Pass your left leg in and then second right leg in. Keep it straight, your body. And hands, according to Longchenpa, most of the time, palms down on your knees. Resting mind gesture. And then your shoulders a little bit up, as if the eagle or virtue flying in the infinite sky. Tip of your tongue touch the upper palate, like that. Breathe naturally. Look at through your nose. And your head is bent toward a little bit like the bow, they say. Make sure your body is in this posture. Now think your body is translucent, not solid, but see-through. In the center of your body, starting from crown chakra to the sacred, the center channel, tube, hollow inside, thin, blue in color. To your right side, male, white, female, red. Starting from below navel, along the center channel, go up to the crown, ends to right nostril. To your left, starting from navel, below navel, going up and down to left nostril. The crown chakra, 32 branches, umbrella shape downward. Throat chakra, up 16 branches. Heart chakra, 8 branches downward. navel chakra, 64 upward. Now the central channel, blue, translucent, see-through, grows bigger. Think it's expanding slowly. Expanding these two side channels past this. Expanding further. Past your body. Okay. According to Longchenpa, as well as Dujung Rinpoche, first kind of steps like that. And then usually this has to do with, based on the visualization, one service the Idam deity, but here simply trying to understand this without the visualization of Idam deity. It is, for me, instructed to do this visualization as a part of Guru Yoga.